picking up where we left off, I'm going to transition the orange triangles to blue triangles. I have some orange vinyl left, so I can try and make a transition by scattering them out along the center, and I can merge blue ones inside. That's the idea. Whether it's going to look any good is anybody's guess. If you did see the previous episode, you'll understand why I'm doing this and not wrapping the car normally. I'm not going to stall any longer. As you know, I'm enjoying this process so much. Let's do it.
Swagger down the street with your red lips and funky beat. You better hold your head up to the sky. I'm gonna roll with you till the day I die.
With a plan for the colour change in place, the first thing I did is cut a bunch of triangles out, random sizes and shapes. This allows me, as I put them on one by one, to see where they should go roughly, and generally speeds up the process. As I'm putting them down, it's hard not to try and make them uniform, so I persevered to make them as random as possible. I have gone at both doors using the same technique. I would have liked to have made the spread a bit wider, so the two colours faded a bit more, but by the time I had got to this point, I was virtually out of orange vinyl. Once my eyes had adjusted to the colour change, it was the same technique. Pre-cutting a load of different size pieces, then finding the gaps where they fit. Inevitably though, I had to start custom trimming, and this is a real time suck. It's one of those jobs you just have to pick away bit by bit. It's fun for a while, but then you start to go crazy, especially when you stand back and realise how much more you need to do. Blue is coming along. Unfortunately, it is as slow as the orange. As I make my way down the rear quarter panel, I start to make most of the triangles a little larger. This is a sneaky way to speed up the job. This is working as I'm already starting on the rear bumper. Nah, that one's going to come back off. See a wavy line. As I'm cutting all of the triangles freehand, so with a pair of scissors and not a ruler and knife, occasionally they go a little wobbly. Normally I notice them before I put them on the car. Obviously that one slipped through the net. Before I go any further, I need to get the wing protectors on so I can lay my Doritos over the top. I considered putting the wing protectors on afterwards so they'd just stand out being black, but I thought already have the wing mirrors, the grills, the rear wing and rear lower bumper black. I thought it would start to look a little over the top if the door protectors are black too. A small amount of extreme stick-all and some tape and they'll be as good as new. Both sides are coming together now. The trickier areas to contend with are going to be around the door handles. I'm yet to put them back on, so until I do, I can just do what I can. This livery I've gone for is certainly a test of endurance. I am starting to see the light at the end of the tunnel. I have a small amount to do on the rear quarter panel this side, then it's just the boot and rear bumper left to do. The lower part of the rear bumper is textured plastic, so I won't be wrapping that. As the final areas of the car are starting to be covered, this usually happens. I start to enjoy myself a bit more, mainly because the bulk of the time taken to do this is done, and it's nice to see the car almost completely covered. Nothing to see here. A tactical extra large triangle required for the boot lid, made a suitable patch for the dodgy paintwork. With the back of the car basically complete, I can now start to trim all of the edges. removed the orange vinyl from the rear quarter panel. Oh no! I damaged the area that I repaired. It's pulled a thin layer of paint off and also the filler in this area. Before I can finish off the triangles, I need to repair this area. I start by rubbing the area down. This should provide a good key for when I apply some more body filler to fill the areas that pulled off. While I let the filler dry, I will make a start on trimming the orange at the front. The sharper the knife, the cleaner the cut. I should probably replace the knife, as occasionally it is starting to tear on the edges. I am now making some 5-sided triangles. Well, I guess technically they'd be hexagons. Another few minutes. To celebrate the release of this year's Toyota Rally 2 car, we've come up with this limited edition super soft t-shirt with a direct to garment design. It holds all of the detail without the uncomfortable stiff feel. We have 4 sizes to choose from. This unique design is available now. If you want to snap one up, check the link in the description below. Last night I finished off prepping this rear quarter for some more black paint. I don't need to take too much care as it will all be covered by triangles. I've applied matte black as I don't have any gloss. I'll put some clear coat on top and it should match the car a little better. A good lick of top coat and it doesn't look too bad. How professional does this look? Not a single run in sight. Went a bit keen with the lacquer, but I'll buff that out now. With the freshly painted surface, I am so close to finishing off the Dorito design. That'll do for now. I start to trim around the rear window line. Then making my way down the door line. I should be able to open the door now. With the door open, I can tidy up the vinyl along the underside of the A-pillars. Around the top of the rear window. I'm still not convinced by the design. As I trim around the edges, however, it does really start to improve. As night fell, it was rinse and repeat on the near side. Along the rear wheel arch and the fuel filler cap. Down the door line and the lower part of the door. With the door free now to open, I can get into the tricky bits. More overnight parts from eBay. We've got some proper brake pads though, some EBC yellow stuff. Look at them, eh? Will I be drilling this retainer screw out as well? Probably. Yep. That ain't coming out. If you remember in a previous episode, I had to drill out the retaining screw for the brake disc on the near side. With the brake disc removed, I can now fully extract the stud which is left in the hub. There it goes. I could not extract the stud from the hub. I have just drilled it out and put an M6 tap through it. With the hard work done, I can now get the new disc on with a brand new locking screw. If the rotation on this side is anti-clockwise, we need the leading edge of the vane on the outside. As you can see, if I were to fit this one, they'd be going the opposite direction. So this is correct for the near side. Sorted. I've just taken the pads off the near side and I can confirm that we have the right ones, so that's good news. Whoa. Knowing I have the right pads, I can now remove the old ones by removing the retaining clip, releasing the carrier of the caliper, removing both pads. To fully compress the piston, the easiest thing to do is release the bleed nipple, which just allows me to force the piston back. It's good practice to free them up anyway, as it's been sat for so long. After tightening the bleed nipple back up, I can install the pads, then the caliper back onto the disc, making sure the appropriate sensors go into place. On this side, the inner pad has a wear down sensor, and that's it, both sides are done. Next, I'll get the door handles back on. Doesn't feel amazing, but I guess that's how it is. Nothing seems to fit back on very well on this car. On the near side, I had the lock to contend with, so it was a bit more tricky sliding that back in, as I had to put it in simultaneously with the handle, but with a bit of perseverance, it slid into place. I think I need to replace the battery in this key fob. Door handles are on. Now I'm going to check to see what engine codes I have, if any. I'm sure there'll be some. Before I put the front bumper and everything back on, it might be easier to get access to anything. 0 codes found. Interesting. That's good then. It didn't show the code for the mould on the steering wheel for some reason. Strange. I am now removing the front bumper, as it was only loosely installed to fit the livery. While the front bumper's off, I can take advantage of having access to do the bolts up for the calipers. Whilst I had good access at the front, I checked around all the bolts to make sure they were tight. Luckily, I did, as some were slightly loose. The underside of the gearbox has some oil residue, so I'm going to check the oil level now and top it up. I'm using a siphon pump, which is really handy to get gearbox oil into gearboxes, especially in a scenario like this, as you can just pump the amount you want from a bigger container. I think that's pretty good anyway. With everything buttoned up underneath, I can get the under tray back on, along with the arch liners. The arch liner this side never came out, so I had no issue refitting this, which is more than I can say for the near side. I'll probably have to rivet that there. I've just drilled out that hole, which I'll probably rivet again, so let's see if I can get the arch liner in. The problem with dealing with cars made 18 years ago is corrosion, and these small Torx fitting screws are notorious for snapping and rounding off. Managed to get a repair washer and a rivet for that one, and a smaller washer for the outside. The arch liner doesn't fit very well. It is in the factory position, so there must be some discrepancy. I can't actually remember what it was like before. Now I can get the front bumper installed. The front bumper goes back on. Guess who forgot to plug the fog lights in? That would be moi. Then the plugs for the fog lights are installed, once I remember to do it. Before I put all the screws back in, I make sure the tabs on either side are slid into place correctly. This massively affects the way the front bumper and the front quarter panels line up. I'm getting somewhere. On goes the centre grille, making sure not to snap any of the brittle plastic clips. Now I can refit the number plate holder. On goes the number plate. That's it for this episode. If you enjoyed the video, give it a like. Go subscribe if you haven't already. We're now getting close to getting this thing back on the road. I need to decide what to do with these old things. As always, thank you for watching, and I'll see you very soon. These aren't too bad. I'll replace the worst two, and then I'll put the new tyres on the front. Yeah, sounds like a plan to me.